And so those days were stressful. And I'm wondering now, in your current stage of life, dad of two, how do you manage your stress level now in your context? How do you take care of yourself? What is your form of therapy? So tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. It's a good question because, and it's important for me because like I felt like there was like a really period of time where I did not take very good care of myself. And I feel like that's something that I've made a significant effort to improve, especially over the last year and a half. Right. And to be honest with you, like the pandemic was like a big wake up call for me when it came to that situation. I've always battled with my weight. Like from when I was a kid, like I was an overweight little kid. As I got older, I've had roller coaster with weight. I've gone up, I've gone down, and probably the best shape that I had been in was when I got married, which was 11 years ago. When you sit there like a year and a half ago, it's like 80 pounds more than what I was when we got married. The pandemic came and I was like, you know what? I really need to take better care of myself. Right. Just a lot of stress going on. Prior to that, also my company, I was in this great company and I was in a great position that I loved, leading a sales team, leading a team of people on the entire East Coast. I was running up and down the coast for a while, which was a little bit crazy, but also enjoyed it too. That company got acquired. And after that acquisition happened, financials have been tough because I'm the sole provider. My wife stays home with the kids, so she's really not bringing in any money. So I've always had this financial stress, and especially after I got let go from that job, because the job that I took after that, not let go, but after the company got acquired, because the job that I took after that was a way less lower base salary, way more like commission structure kind of thing, and I was very unhappy in that position too. I was very unhappy having had to kind of go back, definitely go backwards, from being like this sales director. Now I'm like this sales rep.
What was that like for you, like mentally, emotionally, to go from
It was
sales
rough.
director to sales rep?
It was rough. It was rough professionally just because I hadn't been doing direct sales myself for over 3 years at that point, maybe 3 to 4 years. I had really been in leadership. I was missing that leadership aspect that I had of like running a team and coaching a team. And that's what was like my passion, really, that's what I enjoyed doing. And it was crazy too, because like I ended up like reporting to a guy that was reporting to me in the old organization. And the only reason that happened is because of where I lived. Basically, like I could have been a sales manager, but because there was no people up in the area where I was located, they had to make somebody else a manager. And I, in order for me to come on to this organization, I had to take like a direct sales role. It was tough. And it was just mostly because I missed what I really like doing. So, I've got this financial situation. I've like got this situation where like I'm not happy in my work. And then I'm obviously, not happy with the way that I look, not happy with my weight. Right. So, really the one thing that I was happy about was my kids and my family, right? Like, which is top priority, but all those other things, tend to, if you're balanced and you're doing well in all the other areas, then it helps, how you are with your family and everything like that too.
Right.
So I was
And I'm
going
wondering,
through this.
Danny, real quick, if we pause for a second before we go to the wake up call during that stressful time, how were you coping? Because we cope, whether it's healthy or not, we cope, whether through distraction, through avoidance, through denial, we use things to manage ourselves. So I'm wondering, during that season that was really rough, that it was hard, how were you kind of coping and dealing with the emotional strain and the stress? And even if it was unhealthy, like what was your go-to?
Probably like eating. Yeah.
I
ate a lot of pizza and a lot of bagels and a lot of stuff that I shouldn't have been doing. Right. A lot of stuff that I just didn't. It was definitely not healthy for sure. And I tried to just spend the time with my family. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what gave me the joy. You know what I mean? That's what made me happy, was spending time with my family. So
it sounds like the food was that emotional, you tell me, but it sounds like it was a kind of that emotional comfort of like, okay, well, even though I feel bad, this feels good in the moment. Like I like pizza, I like bagels. It was like stress eating, right? Was that what you would call it, or would you say
Yeah,
something different?
I guess so. I feel like that's that's probably a good way to classify it.
Mm.
Not like a sweets guy or anything like that. So, but it was like, pizza for lunch, bagels, an occasional fast food or whatever, like burgers and stuff.
Mm.
So, I mean, and again, like nothing wrong with that. I still eat that stuff. I just now do it in moderation, right?
Right. More mindful of it, right?
But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I was definitely, stressed out, and like to me, it was like I would just like to go to the bagel store and like sit down at the bagel store and like eat a bagel and read a newspaper at the same
Mm.
time,
Mm.
like just to like completely separate from everything that I had going on, all these worries that I had going on, right?
Yeah, it was a way just to pause it, right? Hear all the worries, the new job, this new position I don't like is, hey, that bagel store with the paper represented a pause in the day, just to kind of, like you said, I don't have to think about it. I could just distract and just kind of focus on my bagel, focus on the paper, and I don't have to deal with this over here, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, and I can enjoy that 15 minutes that I sit there and read the
Right.
paper and eat the bagel and have like some sense of peace. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
it's, because
Right.
when you're home too, I mean, like even when you're with your kids and everything like that, like, it's just constant energy, and so there's not like a lot of peaceful activities that we could do with them. There's a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and we found a couple good ones. Like our pool is definitely one. We take them in the pool, and that's one of the most peaceful activities that we could do with them. So yeah, it's just like, it's just mayhem. In the morning, it's like, where's my milk, and the kind of, or I want to watch this, or I want to watch this, or he took this from me, and like that kind of thing, right? So it's just like, that was like a moment of peace,
Mm.
and like where I could just not worry about anything.
Right.
And that's how I was kind of like facing that. But
Yeah.
like I said, when this pandemic came, that's really what put it over the edge. I was like, especially when it came to the health wise, right?
Mm-hmm.
I said, look, I'm significantly overweight here. We're in New York, and at the beginning, New York was getting hammered. We were probably like the most dangerous state to be in the beginning, right?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, look, if I'm gonna get this thing, I better be in shape.
Wow. So
I better be
was that
prepared.
like the impetus to change? Like, because it's so dangerous that I'm not healthy, and I have to be healthy if I'm going to fight this
Yeah,
for
I'm like,
myself, for my kids, for my family.
this is a disease and a virus that preys on people that are unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like the people that are perfectly healthy, we're not really impacted by this thing. Very, very small percentage, right? So
Mm-hmm.
like I'm looking at it like, hey, you know what? I need to get to be one of those healthy people so that if I get this
Wow.
thing, then I'm not gonna have a problem.
Wow.
And I went to work, man. I went to work. I started making changes to my diet, and and like little things at a time. Just like, hey, I dropped soda,
Mm.
cut back on the bagel store. Maybe I was eating bagels once a week, cut back on pizza, eating pizza once a week. I started making myself my own lunch every day.
Mm.
Grilled chicken sandwich, salad every day for lunch. I've been doing that for a while. And after a few months, I had lost about 25, 30 pounds within the first few months. And
Wow.
then,
Wow.
over the next 6 to 8 months or so, I lost another 25, 30 pounds. So I'm down over 50. I'm down about 50 pounds right now.
Wow, Danny.
And
Congratulations, man.
yeah, thanks. And I ultimately ended up adding a workout into that too. Like I don't like working out. So I was like, what can I do that, is not going to be a painful thing for me to do every day. Right. So I got myself this rowing. Actually, I had this rowing machine. I had bought it like a while back, and never got to use it because it was sitting in storage. So I got this rowing machine out. I basically park it in front of the TV, watch my whatever TV show is that I'm interested in watching at that time, and
Mm-hmm.
I sit in front of the TV for a half hour and I row. And I've been doing that now for over a year.
Wow.
And that's kind of how I get my exercise. And I do that like 5 or 6 days a week. I try to sometimes go out and take walks with my, we take walks as a family. I take walks by myself a lot of times in
Mm.
the morning. I'll pop on a podcast and go for a 20-minute walk just to,
Mm.
listen. So that's what I was doing on the physical side. Right. But then I also wanted to do some things on like the mental health side and social side too. So as far as that goes, what I did was I started reading a lot more again. I really started reading a lot more again, trying to read a little bit every morning. right? Like right when I wake up. I found a book, or I can't remember. I think my wife got me the book. It was called Miracle Morning.
Hmm.
And all the things that you can do in the morning to set you up for success, right? And I think there's six different things that they suggest that you do in the morning. And the first one was working out, and that's the book that kind of put me on, like, I got to work out in the morning. And I started getting up at 5, doing the 5 a.m. thing, and this way I would try to get up before the kids and read and get my workout in, and which sometimes gets disrupted because I have my little monsters sometimes get up before 6 and ruins my routine.
Right there. Yep, I understand, my friend. Yep, I get it.
So right now, like, I try to read in the morning. I try to listen to podcasts. And when I listen to podcasts in the morning, at least, I always try to listen to something that I'm trying to get some value from, that I'm trying to learn from. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And the books, and even the books, same too. Like, I'm always like, I'm not reading a novel. I'm reading, self-help books. I'm reading parenting books. I'm reading
something to
sales
stretch
books.
you and grow you, type of a thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, working that muscle out, so to speak.
Right.
Okay.
And then the other thing is, I was like, I gotta do something for me. I gotta do a passion project too, because when I got that job, when I got that big job and that big promotion, I was podcasting at the time, and I had a really successful podcast that I loved, and I gave it up because of that job. Well, other reasons too, but mostly the big one was because I got the job and I was traveling around a lot, and it was just difficult to keep up with it. So I wanted to do something satisfying for me, but also something that I can, like, I did get a new job too in the middle of the pandemic. Right at the beginning of the pandemic, I got myself into a better job situation, but still not back into leadership either. So, like, I wanted to still find something that I could do to, kind of use some of to inspire people and to help people. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's where the podcast came in. And I decided to start doing For My Son's podcast. And I've been doing it now since March. Yeah. So those are, and I guess long-winded answer to your question here. No, so obviously there was the physical aspect. Wonderful. I got myself in, I knew I had to get myself in better shape. Then there was, this mental aspect of, making sure I'm reading and I'm learning and continuing to improve. And then there was this social aspect of, hey, let's start putting some content out there. Let's start helping people. That's how I have got myself back to, this much better point right now. Yeah. And the one thing that, I just need to continue to improve on, the one area that remains like the most stressful for me that, I need to work on, is the financial aspect of it, right? Like, with everything that's going on, I changed jobs so many times, like, and I just changed jobs again. Same company. I just transitioned to a new role that I got hired at the very beginning of COVID. I got a new job. So I was interviewing in March, and I started in April. Wow. So, like, right when we were like going into lockdowns and everything, I was like the last person that they hired for the division for like 6 months. They didn't hire anybody after me because they kind of shut down. So I was like the last person to sneak in there. And so I'm definitely happier with the company. But again, it's still a sales role. I still have to build the territory. So it's going to take a little bit of time for the real financial fruits to come in. But I already see it going in a positive direction. So my wife is trying to do a little bit more work as well now. She has her own interior design business, and, she mostly watches the kids full time, but, she's trying to do a little bit of work as well. Yeah. Bring in a couple extra dollars for us because we got work to do in our home. But I compared to where I was a year and a half ago, and you look at like those areas, like I said, family was always solid, right? Now we're looking better on the health side. We're looking better on the physical side. We're looking better on the mental side. Now it's just putting that last piece together, which is getting our finances in order and that financial freedom kind of thing.
Right. Well, let me ask you this, Danny, and this is, I think, I would love to hear. Comparing Danny a year and a half ago to Danny to today in his new kind of holistic self-care, the physical part of being mindful what you eat, exercise, stretching your intellect and learning, having an outlet to put passion and heart, something you care about with your, For My Son's podcast. A quick comparison. reflection of who Danny was then, who Danny is now. How would you say that this new way of taking care of yourself holistically, how has it impacted you as a man, as a father, as a husband, as a coworker, like in general? How has it affected Danny and kind of the changes that you saw Danny then to Danny now?
I mean, just confidence, right? I'd say
Mhm.
that's like the biggest thing, right? I feel so much more confident in every single aspect of your life. You know, when you improve in one area, it builds confidence in another area. So I really feel way more confident in being a parent, being a father, just getting out into the world and meeting with people and hanging out with people. It just, feels good when, and I'm looking at, and I'm still overweight. I still got like weight to lose or whatever. But like people come and tell you, oh, you look so skinny, like,
Mhm.
which means that before I was definitely looking fat because I'm still fat, and they tell me I'm looking skinny. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
but no, it's been great, man. I mean, it's just confidence is the big area where I feel like it's affected me, and then just learning too, right? Like, I have learned so much over the past year and a half. Like I've spent, I've invested in some trainings and things like that. So like, learning about podcasting, right? Which is obviously a passion of mine, and something that I may want to even look to pursue professionally at some point. Helping people create podcasts and coach people to do their own podcasts and help people get set up. And I've started 5 podcasts myself and helped other people set up podcasts. So I'm looking at that as a positive thing, and I'm still trying to learn a lot as much as I can. My level of knowledge too, just from reading every day. I mean, when you read every day, and whether it's books or articles, and when you listen to podcasts the way that I listen to podcasts and educate yourself, and learn different perspectives. I mean, of course, you're going to be more equipped. You're going to improve. You're going to have more ideas that you can potentially implement, more action items that you can look at. So much better. It's a huge
Good.
difference. It's a huge
Yeah, I love
difference.
that confidence and with family, with yourself, right? My guess is even impacted just how you parent, just like you feel better. Therefore, do you find that you have more energy now with like working out and stressed out? You
Oh,
find
for
like you have more
sure,
energy to give. Okay, so there's
for
another
sure.
big positive too. Now you have this energy to keep up with your kids, right?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm still really tired because, and that's
This
mostly
time
because
being a parent.
no, no, it's not even that too. I mean, yes, right. Like the weekends tire
Yeah,
you out. Like sometimes even more than like the week work, like the work week.
yeah,
I think also it's like I'm burning it at both ends with the podcast. You know what I mean? Like
right.
I'm getting up in the morning, like trying to do things for, trying to get my workout in, trying to get some reading in, trying to, and maybe even try to get some social stuff in. And social media is like, you know this, you're a creator. Social media takes up way too much time. It's a very significant commitment, but like social media is also how you spread your word out there of like what you're trying to do and who you're trying to help. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
it's somewhat of like a necessary evil. I don't know.
Yeah. No,
Like I'm sure
it
you
is.
can
It
relate
does
to
take
what
a
I'm
lot of
saying.
time. You're right. I could relate.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
those
I
that
mean, you could
don't know,
definitely
the time
relate.
that goes into stuff on the back end and the front of the day, it does require hours. It takes out actually hours to
Hours.
do
I
this
mean, last
stuff. And
night I was
yeah,
editing my episode and creating my carousel post and publishing it. And like, I mean, 3 hours, you know what I mean? Like I finished I did my workout last night. I finished working out at 9 o'clock, and then, going to bed at midnight and getting up at 5. So, and again, that's not every night, it depends on what obviously I have going on, but I always publish on Tuesday, and, I
mm-hmm.
can always, how it
Yeah.
is, like
Oh yeah.
Monday night,
Yep.
let's grind
Oh
it
yeah.
out.
I know.
Um,
Yeah.
it's tough, but it's also fulfilling
Yeah.
because again, you're doing things like, I might be tired because I'm doing it, but I'm happier doing it than, watching 2 hours of Netflix,
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Let's
passing out.
pause for a moment. I'm gonna get my son and then finish the last question. This is Eli.
Hey, Eli. Good
Can you say
morning.
hi?
Hi.
Hey,
Say
bud.
morning.
Morning.
So, Danny, to wrap up the show, one
Hello.
final question. If you were to leave your kids with one message, what would you want them to know at the end of the day?
Oh man, this is like, it's crazy because like this is like the question that I sort of ask at the end of my podcast, and like never thought about what my answer to it was. Ultimately, my thing for them would just be to try as many things as you can, learn as much as you can, try new things, because that's how you're going to determine what you love.
Hmm.
Just as long as you just keep trying new things, again, it's like I said, throw something at the wall and see what sticks. Let's bring it back to that, right? Just always try things, always try. And because that's how you're going to learn what you love. And then once you find what it is that you love, do it.
I love it. Dude, I love it. Encourage your kids to try. And I feel like I'm trying to do that too with my kids, even at such a young age. Just try things. You got to keep trying. Don't try and pigeonhole them, right? But just, hey, I'm here to support you as a dad, right? How do I support you? Try things and help you find what sticks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, Danny, man, it's been a pleasure talking. I love this conversation. I can't wait to share it with everybody. Blessings to you, man. Blessings to your fam and your 2 boys. Blessings
Thanks,
on
Travis.
your new job and this new venture, right? I know you said you just got a new one, a new position, new role.
Yep.
So blessings on this for financial freedom. Keep up the work you're doing. Keep up the good work with taking care of yourself. And man, I can't wait to have you on again. Are you saying bye? Do you want to close the show?
Yeah, for sure. And for anybody that's listening out there, make sure you go out, rate, review this podcast, 5 stars. Give my man Travis 5 stars, and write a nice comment. Let us know what you guys think of the episode and of the podcast, because Travis is doing great work here, man. I love what you're doing, man. You're supporting dads and on the mental health side. I love what you do on Instagram too. I really, I enjoy all those very quick tips that are very actionable. So, I just appreciate what you bring to the community, and I'm happy to have connected with you, and glad to be able to form this friendship here. So I appreciate it.
Danny, I really appreciate those kind words, man. I appreciate the shout out, and I'm glad it's helpful for yourself and others. And again, shout out to everyone else. Please go follow For My Son's podcast, which is Danny's. Go check it out.
Thank you.
He's got a lot of good things going on, talking to wonderful people, all, like you said, all across the board, and just trying to help his kids have a treasure trove. So go listen. And Eli, do you want to say bye-bye?
Bye.
Bye, Eli.